Trader.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
Hello, can you hear me? Let's go to the investor sentiment survey here. I am actually not in my normal place. That's why you don't see me on the camera. I'm in Phuket on a little bit of a trip. I'm going to pull up the stream here to make sure it's running. Yeah, seems like we're live. And I'm going to move it so that I can see any comments. 1 second. Okay. All right. I have comments running on my phone, so I should be able to see what you guys are saying. Sorry for the late start. Hello, Kitchen and Craft. Good to see you. Yeah, so hopefully you can hear me okay. If any issues with the audio, just let me know. I do have my amazing portable mic. And yeah, no camera. I actually have my second camera, but like, to be honest, I'm not in the best like location. I tried to set up the camera, but it just didn't look that good. So I just turned it off and said, forget it. And I think you guys don't care. You really care about the, market commentary. Hopefully you like the thumbnail. If you have any requests, as usual, just let me know and we can go through it. So as you can see on my screen, I posted earlier today a 1 hour chart. We'll go to our Discord. Let me pull up the Discord. So let's go here. Oh, it's not loading. Why is it not loading? TRI. And I posted here. Scrolling up. Where's my post? Everybody's talking a lot. Hello, Thin Air. I posted. So we had the retrace, and we took everyone out as expected. I'm going to show you. Well, I'd rather just show you on what I posted. I'm trying to find that chart here. Yeah, here. Posted earlier today around 2 that I expected Bitcoin to retrace down to like 79,000 level. I kind of gave it a zone. It could see it even go to 78. Right now we're sitting right at 79. So you can see how they retrace it to take out anyone who didn't get into this massive news candle. That's usually what happens if this is actually a bullish continuation pattern. I do think a bullish continuation is max pain here. However, there is potential for me to be wrong because this is short-term trading. And things can change right away. Things are news driven. I don't recommend taking a lot of risks right now, although you can make a lot of money. So I understand the temptation to take at least a little bit of risk because, I mean, we're moving 5% every day. Everything's trading like a meme coin. Hence the title. So this is the S&P, and I posted this. And I actually took, this is basically a W breakout, right? So we broke out from the W, and a standard W breakout, we can use chaos to give us our eventual 4.618 extension target, which lines up with, if you read my long-term report that I published in the Discord a long while ago, the bullish report, my target has always been this 6,600 to 6,800 area up here. So if we can create this move and eventually get to this 2.618 level, then that opens the door to this 4.618 level, and that fulfills my long-term objective that I'm looking for and thinking that we can hit. We pulled back a little bit further than I was expecting. So I was looking for, so you can see we already bounced, right? Here we go. So we pulled back to 51.20, so quite a bit further. I was looking for 52.50. I didn't think we would go this hard on the pullback, but we did. And now we bounced, and we bounced for 2 reasons. One, because they didn't want to trigger the circuit breaker. So the circuit breaker is triggered at, I believe, -7%. So they bounced before that could happen. I think that's a part of it. But also, you can see that if we go to a 5-minute chart, this was basically the news right here. So anyone that was in like a leverage long, they liquidated you quickly here, and then it took off. And even we go down to like a 1 minute. Oh, let's draw the bottom here. Right about there. So you would have had to have gotten in within, these are, believe it or not, these are 1 minute. These are 1 minute candles. So this is 1 minute, and this is the second minute, and this is the third minute. They took out anyone that got in even 1 minute later. They just took all those people out. If anyone's put a stop there, they just took them out. And that's exactly what I kind of wanted to see happen. I thought they would only go to about here, 52.50. They would just take out everyone, and they wouldn't give anyone a chance to get in back here. So I was surprised that we had that much of a pullback. Please post the YouTube link in the lounge. Can you post it? I only have one screen. Can you post it in the lounge, Thin Air? So now we're bouncing pretty hard, because I think they took out those levels. They took out the liquidations that they needed, and you can see here. Let me pull this up. Let's go to actually 1 hour. Actually, I prefer a 4 hour. So on this 4 hour, this is our uptrend line. We didn't break down from this uptrend line yet. So until we break down from this RSI uptrend line, I'm not going to get too bearish. I'm going to stay on the bull side. I'm going to believe that this is a W, and we're bouncing and heading higher because of that W. Yes, I understand the China tariffs are still going on. Trump is fighting with Xi, hence my thumbnail. And we do have this lock on the daily. So on the daily, we have that, or we need to get above this. Okay, so that's the other issue. We need to get above this downtrend line on the daily to really confirm that bull. This is all just shenanigans and hoping to confuse everyone that's trading this. But you can see here that we had an 8 come in and then a major bounce. There was actually a 9 here. I don't know what happened to that 9. We had a 9, but now it's gone. That triggered the major bounce. And then this is the pullback to kind of stop people out. So they did that. And now we hit an 8 on the 15 minute, and we should bounce. And maybe we can get that move higher, which could give me potential extension target, or us, potential extension target up to here, 57.50. Now this could take a while. This doesn't have to happen right away. We could do this, and then we could do this, and then we could do this, and we could do this, and then eventually get up here. Well, just keep in mind that just because I'm talking about this now doesn't mean it's going to happen immediately. It might take a little bit of time. So I like buys down here. I think if you buy right now and put a stop below the lows, potential for a very successful trade. We can even look at options here. So sentiment we talked about before. I don't think it's that helpful at this point, but there are a lot of people that are bearish. So I think max pain would be to the upside in a way, although I think a lot of people were still positioned bullishly. I saw a chart about positions. I wish I could find that where it would show me, like, this is just sentiment, but it doesn't show me what are they actually doing. Like, they say they're bearish, but are they actually bearish? Like, did they sell or are they long, so on and so forth. But if we look at open interest with expiry tomorrow, right? So this is created, yeah, expiry tomorrow. Max pain would be over here, 5400, 5450, 5500. So when you see a ton of puts and barely any calls, generally the market wants to close higher. So that gives me kind of a bit of a bullish bias going into tomorrow, where I want to see us bounce all the way up here. I think that could do really well. I understand a lot of people are saying this is bearish, we could head lower, so on and so forth. But I was looking for this pullback. I posted about it about 7 hours ago now. Oh, hello, Hector. Hello, Archery. How many people we have in here now? I can't even see. Only 2 people? There's only 2 people? How many people we have? Oh, I have 2 people. Okay. Maybe I'm behind or something. Okay, well, hello, 2 people. Maybe it needs to be posted in the. Let me post it. Share. Oh, it says 17 people right now, but I'll post it in the Discord. Oh, okay. So you already posted it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Look at that thumbnail. It's a great looking thumbnail. I love it. But apparently it doesn't help with getting more viewers. Oh, maybe people are too busy freaking out and trading this to be worried about, you know, taking watching some random person on YouTube. Oh, I see on my phone it says 16 people now. Okay. Hello, 16 people. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. Does that make sense? Do you guys have any questions? Any questions on this theory? Any doubts about it? I mean, obviously, you know, everything is statistics. So this is just my thoughts, what I'm seeing. I'm leaning bullish. We have a week on the weekly chart. We do have a TD8. So you can see this TD8 here. So that's kind of a big deal. We have what's considered an exhaustion, that little fire thing. That's an exhaustion trigger that rarely, very rarely triggers. But when it does, that's often a bottoming signal. We also had, you can watch, Arthur Hayes talked about this, the MOVE index, which is the bond market option volatility estimate. So apparently whenever it goes above 130, either central banks or how do I say this? Central banks or governments step in to essentially save the market. And that's what we saw happen here. So the MOVE index, when it also hit a 9, by the way. MOVE index went above 130. They panicked, and with one day, Trump changed the policy to reverse the whole market. That was it. That was what happened. So this is something I think to keep in mind for the future. It doesn't happen that often, though, right? So the last time it happened was in November 2024, right during the election, and then they reversed it, which of course was election. And then before that, it was March 2023. I'm sure something happened during that time. I can't remember exactly, but I think something was happening. Maybe someone can remind me. I don't know why I can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, this is something that's very useful that I've been keeping an eye on, and another like bullish confluence indicator, because I just don't, with everything I'm seeing, I don't believe that they're going to let the markets keep dropping. I think Trump is trying hard to save it. And I think as long as China eventually comes to play ball, I think it will be fine. I can see Bitcoin bouncing from my zone also, right? Albeit it went a little bit lower than I expected. I will admit I didn't expect us to get to like 78K. I thought we would stop around 79 or so. I didn't think we would get this much lower, but it is bouncing now. So a lot of this is dependent on how far China wants to fight. Like, how far do they want to go? Do they really want to crash the global economy because of ego, or do they want to try to come to the table and negotiate? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the exact objective is of China is. Maybe they do want a global catastrophe, but I don't think so, because at least the Chinese people I know, they prefer to avoid any kind of conflict, especially if it makes them lose money. They would prefer to make the money most of the time. But I mean, I only know a few, so who knows if that's true. I don't really know how. Obviously, this is up to Xi and his council. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Xi, or is it Xi? Correct me if you're listening. But really, this is all about mostly China's response. So I think that's kind of going to determine the future here. But for now, we are holding in this uptrending pattern. You can see on this 1 hour chart, we're bouncing for Bitcoin, and it was basically the same for the S&P. We're bouncing off these levels, and there's multiple confluence that are showing bounce from this area and head higher. And this was just a retest to stop out all the longs. So that's why I've actually added to longs here, and I'm looking for a move higher. But if we break the lows, that we just made, then I'll exit the positions. I'm fine with that. That's what I'm seeing in the short term over the next like couple hours to days. I mean, this could happen in a few hours, or it could take a couple days. It's not, there's no real way of saying what could happen. But the scenario is essentially the same for crypto. I know a lot of people here care about mostly just Bitcoin. And if this plays out, then I could see Bitcoin all the way up at 86K area. That's going to be your big resistance area. Even though 2.618 is actually at 89. And then your final, and this is so this is just to clarify. So this is creating a chaos level off of this W here. So we came up and tagged this was a 1.618 level, which is often rejected. And then the next one is a 2.618 extension. And then we've got 3 and then 3.59. And then this is 4.618 around the 100K level, which would make sense for the major move to stop. Again, we're back at 100K, play in that area for a while before maybe continuing on. But that's kind of how this W should play out, assuming like the bearish case or the bullish case. Now, what about if you think I'm totally wrong and this is actually a major bear, and we hit a level, we're just bouncing, and we could continue lower? What does that look like? So that could look like heading down to 38.2, which is also a 1.618 extension of this entire range, ironically. So that is your next major support. That's where you're gonna head down to 4, 5, 6, 8, which from where we are right now, 51, that is another 12% down. I think we don't want that. You don't want another 12% down move. I don't think that would be fun. Nobody would enjoy that. But that's the potential bear case if we break down from here. So just something to keep in mind during this market turmoil. I will be totally honest that technical analysis matters and it helps, but some kind of news could come out that is totally out of left field and simply cause the market to fly in one direction or the other, and all the TA goes out the window. Brian has always said that TA works best in the absence of news, and right now, I don't think you could get more news if you tried. Like I don't see how you get more than this. So yeah, that's the major markets. Everything's gonna basically follow them in a more or less leveraged fashion. Tesla's struggling here. It did look like a decent turnaround bull case. You had a 9 come in on the weekly chart, but MACD is staying stubbornly bearish on the weekly. There's no real breakout here, so we're still sitting here down in kind of this weekly bullish bearish consolidation zone. And you could even go to a 4-hour and say like, okay, well, this was, oops, yeah, I want to delete that. So this was our pump higher, and then the breakdown, and this was where we wanted to break out. So this we're hoping this was the breakout. Maybe it still is, but it doesn't look great. We're kind of just sitting down here, and it's dependent on the rest of the market. That's why I focus on the S&P and Bitcoin, because if these rally, everything else is going to move higher, and then the rest is just about targets. Yes, exactly. And right now it's fundamentals everywhere. Not even, I guess you could say fundamentals. I would call it just news, but I guess that's fundamentals. So that I would, considering the like how much we're moving in one day, if you are trading this, I would size down, considering how big these moves are. Otherwise, you're risking. I think you're taking a lot of risk. So Tesla, yeah, it's just dependent on what the rest of the market does. Everything kind of is. I almost feel silly going through everything. Let me see if I can give you. I mean, are there any coins? There's not many people watching today. Usually a lot more people. Yeah, it's best. Yeah, it did, Brian. Are there any coins or anything you guys want to look at? Anything you're interested in? Yeah, we're bouncing nicely off this 15-minute level. It looks terrible as far as RSI is concerned, though. Like this is still very much bear territory. We have to push beyond this 5200 level. I mean, just so everyone knows, this is pure insanity. Like just in the last 30 minutes, we moved 1.6%. That doesn't happen. Normally, a market doesn't move even 1% in a whole day. And now we're moving 1.6% in an hour, even 30 minutes. Riot and Mara are cooking a harami on daily. Okay, Tomas said Riot and Mara. Yeah, we can look at those. Let's look at those. I talked about the miners a lot. They got absolutely destroyed. Let's take a look. But I prefer to look at them from a higher time frame. So the weekly broke down on Riot. It doesn't look great. We did have a TD9 that came in. Okay, Sui and gold. Yeah, we can look at those. Great. Yeah, good. I like when you guys talk. Just a little bit of discussion goes a long way. Otherwise, I would just do pre-recorded videos. So on a daily, this is what Riot might look like. It's just kind of sitting down here. Not looking particularly amazing. Okay, we can do this little parallel channel here. Just like that. We're sitting at that upper end of the parallel channel. I want to see a breakout on the other side of this parallel channel. So once you get that, and then you're above this trend line, so kind of above like $8 or $9, I could see it really taking off. But again, I almost feel silly talking about this because it's just a mirror of Bitcoin. All these crypto miners are mirrors of Bitcoin. You understand that, right? So if they're, let me try to think, how can I tailor this content better? If these are just mirrors of Bitcoin, what do you guys want to see? Because if you know my Bitcoin analysis, you can translate that analysis to everything else that you know is correlated to Bitcoin, which we know that the Bitcoin miners obviously are. So do you want to see price targets and specific numbers for them just so it's easier? Or do you want to know which one could yield the best percent return? I mean, I'm just curious. For this question's for like Tomas and Thin Air. All right, I'm gonna look at Mara. So Riot looks okay, I guess, but not amazing. I wouldn't buy it right now if I'm not already in it, and I am already in it. When I look at S&P getting rejected, I want it to push up. Come on. Yeah, so Mara kind of looks the same, except it broke down from this uptrend. Absolutely just slapped, destroyed here. Not a great move. Not a great look for Mara. Even if we look at a 2-week chart. 2-week, you do have an 8 that printed. I don't know why I have 2 Tom DeMarcs, by the way. Yeah, I want that. I don't know what's going on there. Price target and where it can go. Okay. All right, I can try to do that. So you do have an 8 on the 2-week. Weekly, nothing. Daily, you had a 7 and 8 come in. And you did seemingly have, what is this line? Get rid of this line. The daily does look like it's kind of trying to reverse, but it's just rolling around down here. It's not going to do anything until the weekly. This weekly needs to reverse. So you need the weekly to reverse, and then you can consider longs. I think for now, I wouldn't touch this. I would wait. I think it's too risky right now. You really need to see some sort of reversal on the weekly. I'm even going to set an alert for myself. Once that happens, obviously it'll move higher, but it's definitely been significantly wrecked. Like, look, this was the top before, and it just down 67%, and that was only in December. Strong bull case. There are the risks. Yeah, there are risks on a BTC at best. Yeah, I agree with that. 4-hour W's on heaps of crypto. Yeah, I agree. There are a lot of coins that look really good. Like I have, so we can, well, I have Sol right here. So Solana on the weekly has a TD9. It took out all of the lows, went all the way back to February 2024. I mean, if you wanted a bull capitulation, this is how you get it. And you can see the weekly is trying to put in a bottom. Daily also, you had basically a fake out, breakout in the daily. You have a retest, and now it's trying to reverse. Trying. I think a lot of these altcoins look really good, and they've been absolutely beaten down. I am long Solana from down here, and I added on the pullback today. Now, if we pull back more, I will exit, of course, but I'm hoping, I'm hoping that this is kind of the end of this just pure destruction that's been going on for a while. I mean, obviously other altcoins look way worse than this. This isn't even the worst offender. But I think Solana looks decent down here, especially if we do this and we look at from the lows, right? All the way back here, and then the highs. We need to reclaim the upside of the 61.8 level. Otherwise, you know, it does get ugly, to be fair. And we go down here, 78.88.6, which is my favorite buy zone. I have a hard time believing we're going to get to that, considering we printed a 9 on the weekly chart. And so that's kind of Solana, but I want to look at others. So this is a way to essentially look at all of the altcoins. It's okay, Cotter. I also started late. Do you like my new microphone? How does my microphone sound? What do you guys think? It's very furry. It has like a nice wind blocker thing. Kind of cool. Same. So the others had a 9 that print. This annoys me. Like, we had a Tom DeMark 9 that has almost always worked. Going back, like, worked. Like here, I don't even know. It seemed like it worked every single time. This one didn't really work, but at least it paused. Every single time Tom DeMark printed, we rallied or at least paused. This was literally the first one. I think this is the first one where you had a TD9 come in and price went lower. I was legitimately shocked by that. I absolutely shocked. So that's the first thing. I'm gonna get rid of this. And on the daily, I'm not particularly enthused about this from what I'm seeing. We do have a little bit that's coming in on 3-day, but I really want to see this weekly kind of cross over. DeMark 13. Yeah, I mean, do we have a 13? 9, 10, 11, 12. I guess we have a 12 and then a 13. My count doesn't go to that. I need to program it to have a 13, but normally I stuck to the 9s. Maybe it's at, if this is 9, 10, 11, 12, so then we'd be at 12 here. Very close. Maybe you're onto something with that. But on a daily, I don't have a massive like bull signal just yet. This looks like it's still consolidating. I think it's just going to follow what the S&P is doing. I do have bull signals for that, as I outlined already. Maybe we can go to like a lower time frame. Yeah, I don't have anything. The 4 hour looks decent, right? So you had, if we go to these really low time frames, maybe you guys care about, it's the same W. Everything has a W. It seems like literally everything. And then you just, we draw the W. And I like to make it so the 1.618 was tagged. And then that gives me a little bit more legitimacy about my future levels. We can be conservative. And then that points to basically us going to this 4.618, 250 level on alts, with 2.618 being tagged first, which lines up with, right? Watch this. Almost a perfect ABCD. See that? So that all lines up. How much of a move is that? Yeah, it's about a 12% move. Yeah, Brian is turning bullish. Okay, that's a good sign. He was bearish. I think Brian had a very nice trade today. Congratulations, Brian, on your trade. Why are you still here? You should have take your money and run. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, and I expect this on all the alts. Somebody asked about, who asked about SUI? Stingbee asked about SUI. So I'm actually long a lot of SUI. Very bullish on SUI. Wait, I don't want to compare. I just want, yeah. So SUI, I mean, it's almost look like I pulled up the same exact chart. This looks very, very similar. So same concept with SUI. We had a nice W. We had our 1.618. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So there's your kind of extension, 1.618 tag. There's your 2.618, and your 4.618 is right up here, which, by the way, is right by your 90-day VWAP level. And you could do also an ABCD, right? And then replicate here, and that brings you almost up to your 2.618 level. See how it all lines up? It's almost too good. It's so obvious that I almost think it's not going to work. That's my concern. But this is your level. So what do you do? Okay, let's say you want a long SUI. It's really simple. If you're a bull like me and you think we're going to move higher, then all you have to do is say, okay, I'm going to long here, and I'm going to set my stop right below the lows here, because I think that's the low, and I'm going to put my target right up here. Because I always think that sometimes they don't always tag it, I'm a little bit shorter, and then that's your risk reward. We've got a 10-to-1 risk reward trade. Oh, look at the S&P. 257. 5,257. Just completely rallying like nothing happened already. So he's not really participating that much though. But look at that. Yeah, so we're getting our break above that 15-minute. It just needs to hold above this. It needs to get above this 9, actually it's a 21 EMA line. So I need to push above that. Oh, okay. So there's that. You're already getting your bullish reversal. Crypto not really participating as much. That's a little bit concerning that Bitcoin is not pushing up the same. It should have pushed up a lot more than this. Okay, so there's basically your trade. 10-to-1 risk reward. It's so good it's bad. Yeah, it might be. I don't know. Well, let me see what else you guys want to look at. Let's see here. 4 hour. Mark said 4 hour W's on heaps of crypto. Thin Air asks for CRV. Okay, we can look at CRV. I don't know why I have all these short stop loss things. Like, what is this? This is my trend heuristic, but I don't like it showing me. I don't use this. It never showed it before. Maybe it's some update. So you kind of had a W on CRV. It's pretty ugly, to be honest. Yeah, nothing. This one is ugly, actually. You had a 9 that came in. It's just sitting down here. It does look like the W's. It's putting in kind of a nice W on RSI. I do like the weekly chart here. Very, very decent. Daily is a lot of noise. Not a huge fan. We need to get Cotter. So Cotter is back, which means the bull market may be returning. Cotter disappeared. Next time Cotter disappears, I'm gonna just like sell everything. I think everyone should listen when Cotter speaks, when it's about stocks and crypto. He often talks about other things. You can ignore him when he talks about those things. But I think we will, if he's willing, I would love to have Cotter on again to get his opinion on what he thinks is going to happen in the future. So that would be great. But let's look at daily barometers on stocks like Coin and AMD. Yeah, we can look at those. But CRV looks like actually it broke out recently on a 4-hour. So maybe it's a good trade. This was kind of this is a really ugly W though. I actually want to extend this a bit to that. So that's like your 1.618. So see how I went a little bit lower here to this area to line up the 1.618? I found that that works better. And our 4.618 is up here, 72 cents. But not as good as some of these other coins. I just don't, I'm not a fan of it, of CRV. I don't know much about it. And I wouldn't, I mean, you can long it here. Same thing as the other coins. Like, you could just go right to the 2.618. There's your buy. Your stop is a little bit lower, below the lows. And then this is your target up here. And it's a 21. You get stopped out, no big deal. You can get stopped out like 15 times and still make a profit. What the heck happened with S&P? I'm so distracted by this. Like, these are such extreme moves. I'm distracted and disappointed because I want this to just go up. Just go up. Stop with the games. This is look, I'm gonna show you guys how extreme this is. I'm not sure if people appreciate like what is happening here. Look at this move. It's 1% in a minute. This is 1 minute. And then we've got 4-minute retrace. Like, you just moved 2% on the biggest stock index in the world in minutes. It's like it's just insanity. I don't know how else to describe it other than pure and utter just pure and utter insanity. Yeah, this is nuts. Okay, let's go back to CRV. Don't let me get distracted by that. Let's see, what can I talk to you guys about? What do I think that you want to hear? Okay, so Manya said, how are you? I have a question. Do you need confirmation in multiple time frames as well? Yeah, I like to look at multiple time frames. I think that's helpful. You know, if that answers your question. Look at this breakdown. Damn. Sorry guys, I'm really distracted by what is happening in this is not good to have this kind of rejection, by the way. We wanted to see a move higher, a breakout. This still could happen, but it's not great to see that. But it might have just been a stop run, come down here, stop run the longs, and then move higher. That also could potentially be the case. Can never be 100% sure. You did have a 5 print, and we do need to get above this right here on RSI to really move higher. We're just bouncing between levels, right? We've got 618, 5.5, and then 38.2 here. So we're just kind of bouncing around. Okay, back to looking at certain stocks. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Cotter asked about Coin and AMD. So we can look at AMD. I always think it's funny when I go back to AMD because I have like random lines that I drew a very, very, very long time ago, like 5 years ago in some cases. I mean, look, AMD is not a long until this weekly breaks out for me. I need to see a breakout on this. I'm actually going to reset this alarm. I think it runs out soon. Yeah. We want to go until there. Okay. Please select a date in the future. Yeah, I did. Selected, set, save. Yeah. So you can see I set an alert for this a long time ago. There was a fake out at the end of March, and then it rolled over further. I need to see a W on the weekly chart for me to really be bullish on AMD. Until then, I can't really buy much. And if we look at this, we did tag the 88.6 level. So we do have location, right? So we need location. The next thing we need is momentum. Glad you like my thumbnail, Mr. Forrest, and glad you like it, read it. Two compliments on the thumbnail. That's good. That one only took me like 5 minutes to make. I was like, this is what I want. I want Xi and Trump in their respective countries' war gear. And ChatGPT just made it. It was great. I'm not going to take credit for that. I just wrote some words. So we're in the location. However, we don't have structure in price, and we don't have a W and RSI momentum. We don't have those two things on a weekly chart, and that's really what I think you should be looking for with stocks is weekly charts. And right now we just unfortunately do not have that. So I'm not a bull on AMD yet. I want to see a breakout. That's AMD. Look at this retrace. I am just flabbergasted by this. So disappointing. Don't keep going down. I want it to go up. I'm tired of the bear. There's too many bearish people that I think need to be burned. I don't do personal tutorials. Not really, at least. Usually I don't. Maybe we can do something. I don't know. But normally I don't. Normally I leave that up to our amazing teachers we have. Okay, you also talked about coin. We can look at coin. Did I mention I'm on a random island right now? I'm not home. I had to, after the earthquake, I decided I needed a vacation. It's also Songkran in Thailand right now, which is like the Thai New Year water festival. So it's a lot of fun. I've always been in like crazy areas for Songkran, but this year I decided to take a little bit of a trip. So I am in Phuket for the week. Right now on a random little island for 2 days where they have monopolized the food and the prices are crazy. But otherwise it's good. All right, let's see here. So still in a downtrend also on coin. No real breakout yet. They had a fake out yesterday. Yesterday was your fake out. But nothing yet. Setting my alert. But we really need to move above. We can't even get above the 21 EMA. Well, why did it alert to that? It didn't. It's weird that it gave the alert. But we really need to get above. I'm gonna adjust this. I want to close once per bar close. Yeah. So it needs to really move above this downtrend RSI. That's essential. Create some sort of W before you can really get too bullish. I mean, you can go to like these 1 hour time frames, right? And you can kind of get, this is like a W, right? We could say if you want to be bullish, we could say that this is a W. However, the entire thing got retraced, and it's not on a daily chart, so it's not really as accurate. However, we did tag. Look at that 1.618 tag. We basically tagged it right there, right? So there's your 1.618 tag, and then you've got 2.618, and then up here you've got the yearly kind of open level at 255, 4.618. So there you go. There's kind of your bull plan and bull case. If we move higher, these are your levels. Cotter posted his coin chart in the lounge. Yeah, maybe I can take a look at that. But you're going to run into this difficult level. Damn, we really retraced a lot on this. Wow. How much is that? Wait a second. I really... 2%. Oh my God. Wow. How much did we go to the upside? 2.6. Oh, it's so hard for me to... I have some positions on, so it's hard for me to focus on talking to you guys when the market is just moving this much. I'm not a fan of these kind of huge movements. Okay, Cotter said he posted some chart, coin, caught between oversold Gartley and not yet reached butterfly. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Interesting to see your 786 and 886 is down between the 100 and 70 level, which shows how much farther we could potentially fall. Not even in the best buy location yet. And then coin. Oh, so that was, wait, are they both coin? Yeah, you posted 2 coins. Okay. Well, this one is on a daily, and MACD doesn't look terrible. But yeah, nothing yet. Thank you for posting that. Yeah, so from your chart, basically potential to go down to the 120, 100 area, and then even 60 area. Yeah, that's what I'm saying by watch the daily chart. Still a bear. Don't consider longs yet until we get on the other side of this downtrending RSI line. Okay, there's that. I wanted to touch on BTCD. If we go to a daily chart, BTCD continues to trend higher. So you're not doing yourself any favors by going with altcoins over Bitcoin for right now. We did hit another extension target of mine, a 3. I do have a 4.618 level, chaos level, whatever. Chaos is actually 4.669, and but the fib is like 4.618. I found they both kind of work well. And that points to 72. I have a hard time believing we're going to get there, especially at the current slope rate. We wouldn't get there until 2026. If we go to a weekly chart, you can see, though, that we are still in this kind of uptrend. So this points to, again, you know, don't really consider maybe altcoins too much. I mean, we're talking about all these altcoins, but I'm saying don't get too serious about them until we break down from this area. Like when we had the little alt season, you had 1 month of alt season where we went from 60 to 50 really fast, but it was over it lasted only 3 weeks. It was basically 3 weeks. That was it. You outperformed Bitcoin for 3 weeks. And the rest of the time for the last, since January 2023, you have not. So for a year and a half, alts have massively underperformed Bitcoin. That is not a fun pill to swallow for sure. So that's something I want you to keep in mind when you're considering longing alts, that it's maybe not the best idea to do so until this breaks down. And right now, I don't see any signs that it's going to break down immediately. That's another thing I'm not seeing any signs of yet. Weekly could be more conservative. I could even put a cross. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so that's my outlook. I don't know. I hope it was helpful. We're in a weird news-driven spot right now. I am bullish, like I said. The market is extremely volatile right now, but if we can push above, especially with this 15-minute downtrend, we should move higher. I highlighted, I'm just kind of summarizing. I highlighted how the calls and puts are very lopsided. When that happens, oftentimes the market rallies, and you can see moves to the upside. So I'm looking for something like that up to the 530, 540 area. Right now we're just in the 570. So to give perspective, we're actually down here. There's a lot of puts, so it would help market makers if they moved it up to the 5,300 area and took out all these puts and maybe didn't pay the calls. So that would bring you right up to about here. I wouldn't. It's not a terrible area to end out the week. I've talked about, I don't think liquidation heat maps work that well. Is this really just at 39? Is it not that bad? Wait a second. Let me refresh this. Nike, is it really 39, the fear and greed? Yesterday was extreme fear, and now we're back to, I guess because we had that rally. Okay, you want me to look at Nike. Okay, Nike. I think you asked me about Nike before. Oh. Yeah, gold still didn't hit my upside targets. Wow, Nike getting absolutely wrecked here, huh? Oh my God. Go to a 1-month chart. Holy crap. Oh wow. This is tough. I can give you a couple potential targets. So one is, this ABCD extension would go to 37. We could also look at fib levels since basically its inception. Right, so all the way down here. Although I want to bring it over here. I'm just adjusting. Okay. Let's see how well these. So you can see how well that 50% level held, and then this is your 50%, right? Here's your 38.2. Here's your 50%. Here's your 61.8. And your next level is 78.6. So I think, from what I can see, this 78.6 level is probably a nice area to consider buys, and that would bring you right below the lows and a major support level from August 2016 area. And you take out those lows, and then you could potentially move higher from there. So that's what it looks like to me. I mean, I'm gonna set an alert. I'll look at this even when it goes below 50. Maybe I'll set it to every time so it like double reminds me. It's not that far away, honestly. It's really like a little bit right here. It's like another 20%. It's already dropped. I mean, just in the past 2 months, you're already down 36. So what's another 20%? That's where I would probably get interested. Otherwise, I don't see any end in sight for this one. Yeah. I keep looking at this. Do we break down? Is it game over? Can we move higher? That is the great question. All being decided right now. This is the battle. Okay, is there anything else you guys wanted to look at? I mean, I know Cotter mentioned gold, but I like to alternate on Nike quite a bit. Bill Ackman hasn't cried enough yet for my liking. Oh, Cotter, it's good to have you on here. You always add entertainment to the stream. I wish I was not so tired. I woke up at like 7 a.m. today, and it's midnight now, and normally I don't wake up that early. I know to some people maybe that sounds late, but that's early for me. And according to my Whoop, I did like 25,000 steps today, which it's a lot. It's a lot. Did I miss anything? Oh, I think that's it. I think I kind of got everything. My biggest recommendation again is, you know, just be safe this week. Look for opportunities. Understand that we could head lower if this breaks down, but if not, it's a great buying opportunity. I am currently mostly long on the long side, hence why I wanted to move higher. I bought a lot the last 3 or 4 days. If we go lower, I can buy more, but I would prefer we go up at this point. So that's kind of my standpoint right now on the market and how I'm seeing things. And that applies to Bitcoin and stocks both. Okay, so that's all I've got. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my time on the island. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. And I will report to you back from Bangkok on Thursday. I'll be back. I'm going to be back Wednesday night. So then I'll be there Thursday with my camera. You get to see my amazing face. And we will have hopefully a good, you know, live stream and a higher market. I don't want to see this down here. I want to see this higher. Hopefully we even close today up at like 5,300. That would be nice. All right. Good to see you guys. Good to talk. And I'll be on the site. I'll be checking in. See you guys later. Have a great weekend.